Hey beautiful people, it's your boy Joshua Martin, and I want to share with you some of the behind the scenes video of my latest film, Reverie, and some of the lessons I've learned. Let's just jump right into it. Scout for a location, take some photos, and have a backup plan. Originally we were going to film this on the beach early morning at sunrise, but that fell through. But luckily I do a lot of traveling around South Florida, and I had a few backups in mind. The second option was to film near the Everglades, and so I ran out there, took some pictures, and I got the idea of how I wanted to film this. You never know, your second option might be your best option. And take pictures. This will allow you to help conceptualize your idea a little bit better, to visualize it, and you can share it with your talent, so you can kind of communicate, because communication is very key as well. Another thing, block at least 3 to 4 hours if you can, or block enough time where you know you can have the setup ready, traveling ready, shooting, and everything else after that. Since this was a personal project for me, I was very flexible in time. We did this on the weekend, so learning from the first go around we did actually film before this, but we had limited time, so we only had an hour compared to filming now we had about 4 hours. So I knew going in, I was like, okay, this is the amount of time that we need to travel, this is the amount of time we need to set up, and the amount of time we need to film. So block off enough time so you can get all your key elements. On top of taking pictures, have a shot list or have a storyboard. This will enable you to direct your talent and communicate your vision. So yeah, it's really key. Like, you don't want to show up to a shoot and like, oh yeah, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. Sometimes it works, but it's better to plan out things so you won't waste any time. If you have a list of shots that you want, you can hurry up and just knock those out. And when you have those shots, film them at least 3 or 5 times. Like, don't just do a one-hit wonder, because from my experience, I used to do that a lot. I would come back and edit, and that's the only shot I got. So have a variety of shots, so you'll have options to work with when you're in post. You can do different angles of the shot. You can do the same angle, but then one closer, one back. Yeah, you don't want to limit yourself in the edit, because you shoot to edit. Remember that. Camera settings. I shot this entire project in Vlog. Now, that's not a bad thing, but what I learned is that Vlog really struggles, from my experience, with low contrast situations. So this was a cloudy day, not much contrast at all. So I had to, well, as I started filming, I tried to expose as best as possible. And, Vlog is a little bit more forgiving in most cases, but I probably would have been better off shooting in Cine D. Vlog needs a lot of light and to properly expose to have minimal noise. And this was a cloudy day, so it didn't give enough punch. Now, it did work out, in my opinion, at the end, because the toning was a little bit more moodier and it kept it that way. But after a while, you can see how things were starting to shift. It got darker. I couldn't really push as much as I could because I didn't want to introduce too much noise. Keep that in mind. You don't have to be stuck with one way of shooting all Vlog versus all Cine D when you're using the GH5. Understand what your lighting situation is, and then set your camera settings accordingly. I think lastly, bring some people you trust. I had an amazing group with me. We had a blast photographing and just making video and just having so much fun. The people that you bring with, make sure you trust them to give like solid input on your creativity, or to be able to talk through a scene or anything like that, because that will be more beneficial to you instead of bringing somebody who's just going to just stand there and not say much or not engage. So have a great group of people with you to just collaborate with, and in the end you guys can take a bunch of pictures so you can put on your Instagram. Well, that's all I really want to share. I hope this video was helpful, some of the things I learned, and I'm going to keep shooting, and each project that I'm going to produce, I'll be putting out a behind the scenes video like this, because we all are growing, I'm growing, and there's no point in me to kind of keep what I know. I'd rather share with you all. So check out my Instagram. This is where you see all of my behind the scenes stuff and what other updates I'm doing. And make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like what you see. All right, deuces.